Hey guys, welcome back to Hippo Supercoach, and today we're going to be going over all the practice games from yesterday and the day before. So we'll discuss them, and I'll also be showing you my updated team as of February 25th. Alright, so let's get straight into it. So Carlton Collingwood, I watched the first half of this game, very happy. So Nick Dacos, strong at halfback and mid. I think he probably has to be almost a must-have. Like, it's hard to not pick him. Sinora, strong remand chance, only 102k mid defender, cool. Didn't really see him, but that's good. Darcy Cameron played ruck and forward, so this is a bit of a worry. So anyone that owns Darcy Cameron, I'd probably have to reconsider. It looks like they're going to play Mason Cox much more than him in the ruck. That being said, Cameron looked really good around the ground. He was taking big marks. But I just think you need Cameron to play that ruck role if we're going to pick him. Otherwise, it's going to be hard. He's not going to take big marks every game, I don't think. So we have to wait and see with that. Maybe Collingwood will be just trialing Cox as the primary ruck. This is what's a little bit difficult about the practice matches, because you have to take everything with a grain of salt. But with that being said, over the last few years, teams have definitely been really trying hard in these practice matches. So it's hard to sort of judge, but I think we have to definitely look at it. Yeah, we have to consider everything that's happened. So yeah, for me, Cameron's probably not in contention. Tom Mitchell played well, but not incredible. So I'm actually not sure about this. To me, he looked very bad for what he's capable of. Definitely off my radar, no doubt about it. Cripps most centre bounce attendances, so he, I think he will definitely be top 8 mid. Will I start him? I'm not sure, but I think there's definitely a high chance he starts off very hot. The only question mark with him is he did roll his ankle. One, his durability scares me just because of the way he plays. Obviously, he's bash and crash. It's almost like he's bound to either pick up an injury and play through it or be out for a while. Also, the Brownlow tag target sort of thing. So now that he's won the Brownlow, he probably gets tagged a little bit more, especially Walsh early on. It's a tricky one, but it definitely looked unreal. And anyone that picks him, I think he's a great pick. Let's get into Brisbane versus Sydney. So this was a very interesting game. So Ashcroft was good. We already knew this was going to happen. And Errol Goulden, so someone that wasn't really on my radar and not many other people's radars. I think we have to consider him. Now, I don't know if John Longmire is just testing things, but he looked great in the midfield, Goulden. So I don't see any reason why he wouldn't play there. They do, however, have a lot of players they can run to that mid. They got Mills, Parker. I guess Heaney can run through sometimes. They got Rowbottom, Goulden. There's someone else I can't remember. Oh, Warner. So it's a tricky midfield to have high CBAs in, but it seems like they rate him if they're not testing anything. So definitely have to keep an eye on him because he played really well. Connor McKenna quiet. This has been annoying. We kind of needed him as our D6. Josh Dunkley strong mid forward. Yep. Neil solid mid forward. So these guys playing in the mid forward, I think is a bit of a test, or maybe just resting. I think when push comes to shove and this games actually start, I think these guys will be in the 70s, 80s percentage CBAs. So I wouldn't be too worried about them if you're going to start Neil. Still a great pick. Darcy Wilmot good on the wing, and Callum Mills forward rotation. So I know not many people had him. I think he's in about 4% of teams, but probably should go down to about 1 or 0% of teams after this game. Definitely don't like the way he's been played, but like I said, they could just be testing things. Melbourne versus St Kilda. So I also watched this game. Winhager forward and Nick Caulfield barely played, so these guys probably got to be off the radar. I've currently got Caulfield in my team at the moment. This is a placeholder, but yeah, I think it's a bit of a shame because Caulfield could have been great, but we'll see. Clayton Oliver and Petrarca as a pod, both amazing. Yep, absolutely. And I think you almost have to start with at least one of them, just because of Grundy and Gawn, because they're going to get first use in that ball practically every single hit out, or every single stoppage, I should say. So it's, what, I'd even consider starting both Petrarca and Oliver. I think if Petrarca played, it looked like he played a lot of mid yesterday and not as much forward. So Petrarca is definitely one to consider. I was never considering him because I had him last year and he was pretty average. But like I said, just with that duo ruck, they're going to get so much of the ball. So Jack Steele was the Saints' best, 89% CBAs. Any doubts about him was sort of removed, which is good. Obviously, Ross Lyon coming in, we weren't really sure if he was going to be still that pure mid, but he's definitely going to be the pure mid. Philippou was impressive. Yeah, he looked really good. Forward though, so I'm not sure how much he'll score, but he looked unreal. And then Rugen, limited game time, didn't see much of him at all. So yeah, I think takeaway from this game, you have to start either Oliver or Petrarca. Gordon Grundy's probably can't start either. Wait for him to get forward status and then probably pick them both. Yeah. Freo versus Adelaide. So Rory Laird, excellent, worth 700k. I just think he probably won't get tagged at all. Great captain option. Don't see him slowing down. Just so good inside, so many tackles. Hard to not go with him. Fife is tempting again. Solid. So he played all forward. Played like half forward, like push up the ground. Kind of like Jeremy Cameron role. And he looked really good. He's taking, big marks. That role he's playing isn't too taxing on the body, which is good. Which sort of makes you think, can you actually start Fife? But his averages, probably realistically, he probably only average about 90 to 95 at best. But like I said, he did play Adelaide, so it's hard. Like when he has like a really good defender on him, is he gonna still be able to take all those marks and stuff? Probably, but it's a tricky one. Fife. I need a second game to see from him, and then that will determine whether I start him or not. Because 313k, whatever he is, for an absolute gun, even though he's not playing in the gun role, it's still hard to pass up on. So anyway, moving on. Sean Darcy, so he's in my team now. He got way more ruck time than Jackson. I think someone said it was like a 75 to 25 split. So that's really, really positive news. And not just that, he actually looked really fit. He looked really, really good. So yeah, I think he has to put his hand up for R1 at this point. There's not really anyone else. I have to wait and see with Tim English, obviously, but yeah, Darcy looked really good. So happy to start with him. Jordan Dawson looked really good as well. So hard to fit him in at the moment with all the mids I have, but someone definitely to consider. Pedro played well, not amazing. Johnson came on late, was quiet, and Brayshaw did well. They weren't paying 600k. So yeah, if you're going Brayshaw as a pod, I don't mind it. I just don't think he's going to average 120 plus. So definitely could see him in the 115 range, 113 to 118 range maybe, probably at best. But he did look very, very good. Port versus West Coast. So Yo and Sheed look good in the mid, and this sort of raises the question, like, do you have to start Sheed? I think you absolutely have to start Yo, but now Sheed is an interesting one, and right now I don't have him. Doesn't fit my structure, but if he has another big game, you probably have to pick him just for the cash gen. Obviously he's not a keeper, but yeah. And the question is, which mid primo do you get rid of to fit him in? So tricky one, but I think he had like 89% CBAs or something, so very hard to not pick him. Oscar Allen's well enough, but not amazing. Rosie, brilliant, best on ground, just pick him. I don't think he was actually that good, but I didn't watch the game that closely. Chester looked good on the wing. Fantasia played well pod. Yeah, okay. One thing I noticed about this is Horn Francis. There's no notes on him, but he actually played, I think, 75% CBAs. I think Rosie had like 50, which is still decent. But yeah, probably won't start Rosie, in my opinion. But Horn Francis is an interesting one, 340k. Are they just trialing him? Maybe. I don't think they rate him that highly, do they? I don't know. He's one to watch, that's for sure. And I think that's pretty much it. So the Richmond game, Taranto was really good. I don't think there's any notes. So Richmond North, here we go. So Geelong Hawthorn, Weedle looked great on the wing, but he's playing solid mid forward. Stewart same as always. Radically looked good in defence. So am I considering Jack Bowes? Probably for now, just because of the price, fits my structure. Radicalia's maybe an R3. I don't think you could start him R2. It's very, very risky. Holmes 50% of centre bounce standards. That's an interesting one. Newcomb 66, Walpole 56. Day mid massive. So Newcomb super pod. I mean, Not for me, but I could see why you pick him. I think Weddle didn't actually play that well. I think it's more just his role that looked great. And then that's pretty much it. So they didn't actually talk about the Richmond game. So I'll talk about that quickly. So Taranto and Hopper, I think, are locks. Jack Siebel's one that I've actually locked into my team as well, playing that defensive role, playing that Seagull role that he used to play. Didn't have all the kick-ins. I think he had like 5 kick-ins out of like 8 or 9, so still good. But I think for 350k, like I think he's gonna make it. I think he gets to 500 quite easily. So have to wait and see with no, you don't have to wait and see with Siebel. Sorry, you have to wait and see with Hall, because I don't know how he affects him. But I don't think he affects him too much. Like they scored massively when they both played together on that back line. So who knows? Anyway, let's get into my team reveal. So big moment. So this is how it's looking. So Nick Dacos, like I said, I think it's hard to not pick him. Antipod, obviously a gun. Loves to Seagull, and I think he's actually better as a defender. I don't think he's quite ready for that mid role yet. He's still pretty small. He might have looked good in the intra club against Collingwood, but against Carlton, against their bigger bodies, he didn't look amazing in the mid. But when he played in that back line, I thought he really looked good. Elliot Yeo, so he was actually getting CBAs and kick-ins, which is like absolute Supercoach gold. He's a pig as well. Loves to tackle, loves some cheapies. I think he actually could be top 6, to be honest, not just a cash cow, which is super exciting. Looked really fit too. Jack Bowes, so he's just in for now. Don't know too much about his role, but yeah, we wait and see with him, and same with Caulfield, we wait and see. Hopefully they can make us some money. Jimby, I don't really know much about. Evan Weddle, these guys are just supposed to play. So Wilmot, I heard he was okay, and then Wagner's just a placeholder for now. Now getting to the mid, so this mid, I don't think he's going to change, honestly. It's just too good, in my opinion, and I'll go through it, and I'll go through why, in my opinion, it's the perfect mid to start with, and obviously I'm a little biased, but so lead, probably going to be M1, 2 or 3, quite comfortably. 703k, I know it's a lot, but it's just, I think like these guys are that price for a reason. Like, they're so consistent. It's going to be very hard to get led if you don't start him. He dropped like a 97, that was his lowest score. So have fun trying to get him all year if you don't pick him. Clayton Oliver, Gawn and Grundy rucking to him, just too strong. I think he actually bumps his average up to 130 plus this year. He'll be M1, I think. Yeah, it's just way too hard to pass up on him. Hopefully it doesn't get tagged. I think Port tagged him, that's about it. Bont, I think he's got the potential to be in the top 3 mids as well, with no Dunkley, as long as he has that pure mid role. Obviously he's got the 130 average with Dunkley out of the team, so no reason he can't maintain that, and he looks really fit in the preseason by all reports. Now Jack McRae, interesting one, but it's very rare you get someone this capable of being M1. This guy averaged like 125 for 4 years in a row, besides last year. So I don't see why you wouldn't pick McRae. I think, you know, someone that price, he's not too expensive compared to Laird and Oliver, but what he's capable of is 700k plus. And like I said, if he starts hot, he's not coming down. He can average 125. He can be M1. Okay, and you're paying decent price for someone who can do that. And that's the exact same thing with Steele. Steele could be M1 or 2. You average 126 and then 122 or something the year before that. So he can be M1 as well. So everyone in this midfield, besides obviously Hopper and stuff, can actually be M1 or be a top 3 mid. So that's what I love about this midfield, and if I had to get rid of one player, I don't even know who it would be. It'd probably be Bont, but it's really hard, and that's, yeah, I don't want to get rid of anyone, so fingers crossed I don't have to start Sheed, and hopefully the forwards and the defender rookies can hold on. But yep, so moving on to the rucks, Sean Darcy, spoke about him just before. Yep, looked really good in the practice match, and 75% ruck time is enough for me. Probably averages anywhere between 95 and 1. I don't think he can average 110. He can, but I don't think he will. I reckon he's more like a 105, but still definitely enough. Royal Marshall, I actually thought played really well against bloody 2 mammoths ruckman, And Grundy looked really fit, by the way. He didn't look at all out of place. So fit and firing Grundy and Gawn is going to be a very hard matchup for anyone. But yeah, I thought Marshall played really well. So he's set and forget for me. Dunkley, an obvious pick. You don't have to really think about him. Cogs, I think he averaged like 110 or something after the new coach joined. So yeah, Cogs is a pure mid, lock to average 100. Tim Taranto looking really good. Kicked a couple of goals too. Zeebel's got that seagull role, so I don't see why you wouldn't pick him. And then Toby McLean, Philippou, hopefully they can hold their spot. And Fergus Green apparently played really well in the practice match, so that's good. And Van Rooyen, we don't really know about job security yet, but yeah, like I said, if I need cash, it'll have to be like a bont down to Sheed, and then we spend it elsewhere. But like I said, I don't want to get rid of any of those guys. Just if someone has to go, it's got to be Bont. So that's it for the video. Please drop a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.